Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. My name is Steve Eunice. In this, our September 6, 2021 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including some upcoming Blu-ray releases. We're going to get some stories from Michael about Dragon Con. We're going to be talking about the latest episode of Supergirl, comic books, so much more. We've got so much on the topic list tonight. But we also want to hear from you. So to let you know how all that works and how you can get involved in tonight's show, let me introduce you to my co-host, the very deep-sounding Michael Bailey. Hey, Michael.
How you doing, Steve? Yeah, my voice is trashed. It is really trashed. I think I did more panels this weekend than I was scheduled to. And like Saturday by itself, I did like 5 in a row. And so, yeah, it's I'm deep voice Mike tonight. But no one,
The Barry White.
they're going to hear the deep. Yeah, they're going to hear the deep voice. They don't want to hear about the deep voice. But what they do want to hear about is Superman, because Superman Homepage Live is all about the Man of Steel. And because of that, we want to hear from the people that are watching us live right now on YouTube. So about halfway through the show, if we don't have too much going on, we're going to start taking calls. So how do we do that? Well, it's really simple. You need Skype. Go to Skype, search for Superman Homepage, and send us a message you'd like to be on the show. Now, a couple of things, and these are kind of important. One, message us and wait for us to call you. If you try to call in or try to break up the call, it kind of screws things up. And if we do take calls tonight and you do get on and you're using an external speaker to listen to Superman Homepage Live, please mute that because we're on a bit of delay and that could screw things up.
Yes, indeed. And for those who are tuning in live via YouTube tonight, we invite you to participate in the comments there. There are people watching live with you. Post your comments, ask questions. Michael and I will get to those and react to them as the show continues. And if you'd like your comment or question featured on the screen live during the show, that's called a super chat. All you have to do is click the dollar symbol. A slider will appear on your screen. You decide on the dollar amount you're willing to donate, and we'll feature your comment or question on the screen as the show goes on. And thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. And if you'd like to support the Superman homepage, then simply click the join button below. Question straight up there, Michael, about Dragon Con. We'll get to those in a second, but
Yeah.
were you part of a Zack Snyder hate panel? Was there one?
No. Yeah, they I have no idea where that came from, but it popped up on the schedule, and it was basically, I think, supposed to be kind of tongue-in-cheek, like having a panel where they talk about their problems with it. I was nowhere near that. I have no interest in doing that, because basically, if I want to complain about Zack Snyder, which I don't, but if I want to, I can do that here.
You got your own
and I've got
platform.
other shows. Yeah, I've got platforms to do that on. So.
All right, well, let's just quickly start with the movie side of the news world for Superman fans. And this week we did get the official press release about the Injustice animated movie coming to Blu-ray and DVD in October 19th. This will be released on Blu-ray, 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray combo pack, and digital, October 19th. This is inspired by Injustice: Gods Among Us, the popular video game, and then became a best-selling DC graphic novel based on the video game by Tom Taylor. The animated film Injustice finds an alternate world gone mad where the Joker has duped Superman into killing Lois Lane, sending the Man of Steel on a deadly rampage.
Yeah, I'm not really keen on the cover art. I like Batman looks fine, Wonder Woman looks fine. I think Superman looks really off there.
Yeah, he's a bit strange there. His face in his head.
Yeah, it's just yeah. I mean, I'm gonna watch it at some point, but that's not an attractive cover.
No, but yeah, this obviously is one of those storylines that kind of splits the fandom a little bit. There's a lot of people who are really gung ho for this, and are looking forward to it. And then there are the other side of things where people are going, another Superman story where he goes evil or what have you. So it does seem to be a theme across a lot of the stories in the last 5-10 years for DC Comics, but I guess it was only a matter of time before this one, considering the popularity of both the video game and the comic book series, that it would get turned into an animated film.
Yeah, and more power to them. I mean, to be fair, Warner Brothers is in business to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're gonna have a successful video game that had a sequel and like that Injustice comic series had like what 5 years worth of different series and a prequel. I mean, that's this is printing money at this point.
And you can catch a sneak peek at the Injustice animated movie when DC FanDome, the global fan experience, that online event, will take place on Saturday, October 16th at 10 a.m. So it's the same day that it's actually 3 days earlier than the release. You'll be able to catch a sneak peek at DC FanDome. But yeah, this is the animated movie coming out October 19th. And speaking about things coming out on Blu-ray, you can now, as of today, pre-order the Superman, the complete animated series, on Blu-ray and digital. This will be released October 12th, and it is available now to order through our website for the complete animated series, celebrating the 25th anniversary of Superman, the animated series.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to look on Blu-ray. Because sometimes the DVDs can look a little scratchy, and that's nothing against the DVDs. It is what it is. But yeah, it'd be nice to kind of see this kind of upscaled visually.
Yeah,
and today.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, today is the 25th anniversary of it premiering in the United States. So
there you have it. No better excuse to go on to the website and click the link there on our website to order your complete animated series of Superman on Blu-ray. And it does include several hours of bonus features, headlined by an all-new documentary detailing the creation of Superman the animated series. As I said, available October 12th, released October 12th. You can pre-order now through our website for this collection, which there is the back cover on the screen at the moment, which we hadn't seen before. So that is pretty cool that this is coming out. I absolutely loved this series when it was released. I do remember, because at the time DVD wasn't around really, and if it was, I didn't have access to the series on DVD. I was getting them sent to me by a friend in the US who had them on VHS, and it was NTSC, and the player that I had here is PAL in Australia. So I had to take him to another guy that I knew, and he would say, look, you'll do it for free. I'll transfer it onto do the conversion for you, so that he could get the episodes, because they weren't showing here in Australia. So he was able to get the episodes, and he was transferring them so that I could watch the episodes. And it was just like the lengths we went to get these things back at the time, because they just weren't readily available and online. You couldn't download them and all those kinds of things. It was a phenomenal time to be a Superman fan, because it was an awesome animated series.
Yeah, I've never understood the difference, why there's a difference between the PAL and the other one, NTSC, because it's just like, why would you go to the links to do that? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's like
make it universal.
Yeah, well, it's like you guys use inches and feet, where we are in the centimeters and meters and millimeters and conversion of
You could go ahead and say it, Steve. It's the way we should be doing it too, but we're sticking to feet and inches, and I have no idea why.
Anyway, mind the gap saying, Steve, that's how wrestling fans traded tapes back in the day. So I guess fans of anything back in the day were doing things like that when they had to be able to watch what they wanted to watch when it wasn't readily available. In an era where the internet was very, very slow, and you couldn't just download things like we can these days.
No, no. It
I,
would have taken you days to download an episode.
if your connection lasted that long, and you needed your phone line to be able to dial up, so you had to,
Hmm.
if you didn't have a second phone line, you were using your existing phone line to be able to get on the internet. Who has
Absolutely.
landlines anymore these days?
You would be surprised. We sell a lot of phones that are landlines. My favorite though is people come in and they're like, the fax function on my printer doesn't work, and I'm like, it doesn't work? They're like, no. I go, did you plug it into your landline? You have to plug it into the landline? Yeah, that's kind of how faxing works. Can't you do it wirelessly? And this is where I could get in trouble
Wow.
because I say we do have wireless fax. They just call it email. Um, but I have to be really careful with that one.
Don't get too snarky.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're the reason you've got a pretty deep voice. This we've already touched on it. Is you were at Dragon Con this past weekend. You've just gotten home. It's been a long
Hmm.
couple of days. You were participating as a host and moderator on a number of panels, including the Smallville reunion ones. Um, I've seen your posts on Facebook. It sounds like you had an absolute blast of a time.
It was the fan panels that I did were a lot of fun. We did, and Mind the Gap mentioned it in the comments. For one of the tracks, we did Battle of the Supermen, where we basically discussed, and it was four of us, including Rebecca Johnson from Supergirl Radio, and the moderator Kellen, who heads that track, just was like, who is the best? Who is the best for this part of Superman? Who is the worst? And it was a really civil conversation. Um, I was surprised at how much Christopher Reeve didn't dominate the conversation. I mean, he was obviously brought up. And Tyler Hecklin, like there was me and another guy that were just like on the same wavelength about him. But it was a lot of fun. This morning we did a Smallville fan panel where me and three other guys sat there and talked about the history of Smallville and its impact and all of that. That was great. But it really was um, the celebrity reunion panels that were a lot of fun. The first day, it was just Tom Welling, Laura Vandervoort, and Sam Witwer. I can guarantee, I was like, am I going to have this reaction? Yes. Tom Welling is freaking huge. And in real life, it's like even more impressive. That first day was a little more regular. We had some technical difficulties with the questions from the audience, but the cool thing about it is that Tom really just kept eye contact with everybody on that panel. Like he would scan the entire room, he would look at me, and then he would do it again when he was giving his answers. And he was really honest about things. One of the things that came up all 3 days is that yes, it was in his contract that he wasn't going to wear the costume.
Okay.
And they pushed him to wear the costume, and he stuck to that. Um, and just other like kind of behind the scenes things, like the fact that Sam Witwer had appendicitis at one point, and he thought he just had a stomach flu, and they did some tests, and they're like, no, you have to go have surgery right now. And like, so he's gone a week and a half, and his first day back is one of the ones where he's on the gurney and he has to get up and down after having surgery. Uh, and Laura Vandervoort helped break up a identity theft ring, which is kind of fascinating. Um, but days 2 and 3 were insane because Michael Rosenbaum showed up. And he is every bit as crazy and wild. Uh, and there's a bunch of things, a bunch of stories I could tell. I'm only going to tell like 2 or 3, and I'm going to make them real quick, I promise. At one point on the second day, um, they they had a question in the audience about the Silver Kryptonite episode, and Tom Welling did not remember it at all.
Yeah.
Just had no memory that he did that episode, and they're all like kind of going like, well, what season was that? And I go, well, that's from the 5th season. And Sam Witwer like snaps his fingers and points at me. He goes, "No, ask this guy. Because from the previous day I dropped a little bit of knowledge. He's like, he knows like everything about this." And so Michael Rosenbaum gets up and starts grilling me.
Oh
He's
no.
like, "You know everything about Smallville?" I'm like, "I know a lot." And he's like, "Well, who is his character?" And he points to Sam Witwer. I go, "Davis Bloom." And who is she? Kara. And he gives me like one of these. I go, "Zor-El." And he says this. I go, "Supergirl." He's like, "Ah, okay." And they just start laughing that the guy at the end of the desk at the tables, me, knows the show better than the guy that was in the show.
Yeah.
But as Tom pointed out, they did 10 years worth of episodes you don't remember every day at work. But
And I
the
imagine
second
that
story that was funny,
I imagine they probably don't even watch the episodes back, so they're working on them and they're kind of it's disjointed. They know the storyline, but they're not actually doing everything in a chronological order. So they probably don't. That probably doesn't resonate with them as much as it does with the fans who sit down and watch it and absorb it.
yeah, and somebody asked Tom why he stopped doing commentaries, and it's because he was busy.
Mm.
Like there are days he said that he would work a 16-hour day on the set. He'd get ready to leave, and they're like, "No, we got to go do 8 hours of second unit stuff." And he would work like 24 hours in a row.
Mm.
He had no interest on the weekends to sit there and talk about it. But he says he does want to do that now. He wants to get like the cast together and basically do like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 of the episodes. Because he said on the first day, he's like, it would pop memories if I watched it.
Mm.
Um, but on the second day, I got a picture with him and Michael Rosenbaum, and you showed that one of him in the jacket. And Michael Rosenbaum gets behind me, goes, "I'm going to stand here," and Tom Welling gets right here, like right in, like right in my face. He's like, "I'm going to stand here," and I'm like, "Do you realize there are people that would really pay money to stand where I'm standing right now?" And he kind of laughed, and we took the picture. And as you can see, they're really game for it. But it was the third day I felt a little more comfortable. And I'm like, I go, "Guys, I'm going to break it. I'm going to be a fan for a second. This is huge for me." Because my first Dragon Con was 2001. And I remember being so excited that Smallville was about to come on. And Tom Welling looks at me. He goes, "What was it like for you?" And because he had no idea what the fan reaction to it, he didn't know about the buzz or what was anticipating. So I was just sitting there telling him things about, what like just memories of reading stuff about it on the Superman homepage, and how the message boards, like people were kind of nervous about the no flights, no tights, but people were really excited, and it really seemed to fascinate like him and Witwer and Laura Vandervoort, just to hear that, because he goes, "We were up there making it. We had no idea what was going on, and the internet wasn't what it was today."
Mm.
And I'm like, and so it was kind of cool to sit there and go, "No, dude, seriously, people were excited for this." So, but it was just so much fun. And they were really nice too. That was the best part of it, is like they were all like just genuinely good people,
Mm.
and they love talking to the fans. They
Yeah.
love answering questions. They love, just kind of, hearing from the people that watched the show. And and the third day, they actually led two sing-alongs of the theme song.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it was insane. The the Mark Lax asks in the chat, those should be available on Dragon Con TV, which you can get. You had asked me that before. I found it found out right before the show, before going to the convention. If you just Google Dragon Con TV, you pay $10 for a year, and you can watch all of the main programming. So it should be on there because they recorded it. But here's the thing: by the third day, everyone's a little loose, and the F-bombs were flying free. So I don't know how they feel about that at Dragon Con, but my God, it was crazy, because Rosenbaum jumped off the stage. He's in the audience. He's putting the microphone around. The third day was just bananas.
I can imagine. Yeah, I've met Michael Rosenbaum at the Superman celebration in Metropolis, Illinois, when he was there one year as a guest, and he's a fantastic guy because he's just so relaxed. He's just so on all the time, and he's
Hmm.
so funny. But he's very personable, and he's a great guy to just have a conversation with. So I can imagine that those panels that he was involved in would have gone on across and different tangents and just gone off the boil so many times.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. It's kind of like a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I was just really glad to do it. And I'm just now very, very tired.
Yes, I can imagine. So, was there anything like revealing that you didn't know from the guys that they spoke about? I mean, there's always been lots of controversy about Smallville and the way it ended. And was there any discussions about that?
So, the I was gonna say one thing, but I'm gonna say another thing. Tom was very open all 3 days on the fact that him not wearing the suit was part of his costume, was part of his contract. Uh, he goes, he doesn't know why he had that kind of foresight because he was so new to the business, but he put it in there because apparently in season 2, and I don't know if it was like the main showrunners like Alan Miles, but one of the producers came to him and it's like, yeah, so we want you to put on the suit, and he's like, not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. So it was his idea to do the shirt rip at the end of the finale, because the finale, as originally written, was going to be him in costume saving people, and he didn't want to have that be the entire finale,
Mm,
um, because to him the entire journey was Clark becoming Superman. So when you see him at the end of the episode, at the end of the finale, and he does the shirt rip, he goes, as an audience that he's out there doing what he needs to do, but you don't need to see it. So he really wanted to end on that. The other thing was the writer's strike is why we got 10 seasons, because his contract was for 7 years.
mm.
And he was really honest. He goes, and the writer's strike happened, and I didn't have a lot of options. So he signed on for 3 more years, and that's why you got that 10-year journey, is
Wow.
because they were at a point where they didn't know what was going to happen, so he just decided to keep on going with it.
Yeah, better to do
And
some work than no work at all.
yeah, and he and Sam Witwer and Lord of Vandervoort were very, very complimentary of Tom Welling as like the positive one on the set. Like they all loved working there. There were bad days and there were people they didn't like working with. But Tom Welling was apparently the one that set the tone of how things were going to be.
Mm,
The other thing is, a lot of times on these shows, you have a bunch of directors come in, and there's different directors for every episode.
yeah,
And most directors, when they come in, they don't give any notes about performance. They're just there to shoot their scenes.
hmm,
And Tom and the cast were very insistent that you give them notes and that you talk about performance. And he says, and if you watch the show, our performance is better because of it.
yeah.
The final one is he was aping John Schneider in the Crisis on Infinite Earths cameo. He goes, all of his physical, like, with the gloves and everything. He goes, I was just like watching what John Schneider did and doing that, because he says that's what Clark would be like as an adult. And I thought, that's neat to know.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has no desire to ever put on the costume. He may want to play the character again, but a lot of people were like, "Did you want to wear the suit?" He's like, "Nope, not at all."
Not at all. Mind the Gap saying he wonders why there weren't more tie-ins from DC at the time, like comic books or animation. I guess because it was all about pre-Superman, and they were all post, Superman stories.
Yeah, I mean they had a magazine, and
Yep.
they had like the comic book special, and then there was an ongoing
Yeah.
series
They
for a
did a
brief period of
season
time.
11 comic book once, after the TV series ended.
No, no, the that was after the show.
Oh,
During the show, there was
oh yeah.
it was kind of like a mix of like comic stories and interviews.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, they I got the feeling from when we interviewed Al Goff uh, years ago, and he told us about what it was like working with the WB and listening around the edges of the stories that the four cast members were telling. It just seems like Warner Brothers is kind of a mess behind the scenes. Like one part of the company does not really know what the other part of the company's doing.
Yeah, it sounds like that for most of what the conversations we've had with people on the inside. All right, that's Dragon Con. It sounds like you had a great time. I'm glad that it was a success for you and that you seemed like you really enjoyed yourself and that it was all that you expected it to be. And hopefully it continues on to go back again next year and look forward to seeing
Hopefully.
yeah, what happens there. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about Supergirl. We're going to do the fan favorite segment, This Week in History, comic books, and so much more. Hang with us. We'll be back right after these messages.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying Superman Homepage Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, then you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program, just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by going to patreon.com/supermanhomepage.
Up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman in Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
Attention, Superman fans. Superman glasses are coming to Taco Bell.
That's right. Taco Bell is offering Superman glasses with exciting scenes from the movie. There's 6 of them. Every time you buy a medium-sized Pepsi-Cola, you can buy a Superman glass. But supplies are limited, so hurry down to your Taco Bell and start your own collection of Superman glasses.
Superman glasses, now only at Taco Bell.
And we're back on Superman Homepage Live, where, as I said, we're going to talk about the latest episode of Supergirl, which Michael reviewed for the Superman Homepage. It was episode 9 of season 6. It was titled Dreamweaver, and obviously focused a fair bit on Nia Null and her character and the dream sequences that she was having, that Nixley was invading about Nia's mother, and unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, Nia struck up a deal with Nixley about the two of them helping each other in a way.
Yeah, this was a really good episode. Probably, I think, the strongest of the season that actually has Supergirl in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like adult Supergirl. I think they mixed all of the plots well. I think they handled the social commentary in a really kind of subtle way where they made their point, but it didn't feel like they were doing their usual, like, standing on a soapbox.
Mm.
There was a great action sequence there at the end.
Yep.
And I was just engaged from beginning to end. I was really impressed with it. It was like kind of a return to form.
Yeah, it was a pretty good episode. It had highlights for each of the characters. Like there were sequences for everyone to be able to sink their teeth into and get a bit of the spotlight. Supergirl and Jean, as you said, had a bit of an action sequence where they had to fight these prisoners who had superpowers of their own that were being forced to do some nefarious things for the prison on behalf of what's the Intergang.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah, and then obviously Nia got her part. We saw what's her name? Jimmy's sister. Well, I always forget her first name.
Kelly.
Ellie, being given the helmet to take on the Guardian role, and she's going to be training now with Alex to spruce up her combat skills. And yeah, it was kind of a pretty strong episode all in all.
Yeah, it seemed like it was like now they finally got their feet wet and they're back on track with the season. And I'm kind of glad, and I hope it kind of continues on this where the episodes are this strong for the rest of it, because we are heading towards the end, and if you can end on a strong note, it'll make the entire series better.
Yeah, exactly. And we also had obviously the whole Catco stuff where William Day and Kara were being forced to try to find stories about the Super Friends. You had Andrea really forcing that issue and being really strong on that angle that she wants to try to get Catco back up onto the front of the ratings based on those ideas.
Yeah, and here's the thing though. In the last episode, she was just like, "We're number 8." And then she's like, "We're number 3." But I'm like, wait, you jumped 5 spaces and you're not happy with that? I mean, I know you want to be number 1. I get that, and you have something to prove. But man, give the staff like an attaboy. If you moved 5 spaces, that's legitimately impressive.
Exactly. Never happy. And then we look ahead to the next episode of Supergirl, which will air tomorrow night there in the US. It's titled Still I Rise. And did you notice that the CW have stopped doing promos?
Mm-hmm.
That is
I've seen a lot of people talking about it too. Apparently they're doing the same thing for Legends. They're just not doing promos for them, and I have no idea why.
I just don't understand why you wouldn't. Okay, we know it's the last season. We know you did here is a promo for the season to come, which you do when a show is returning. But to not do this is what's coming next week, and that you can keep people interested. You can play those in the next couple of days to remind people about the episode coming up again. I don't understand why you wouldn't want to promote a show that is still on your TV series, your TV network.
Yeah, it seems kind of almost like a slap in the face to the show. I don't know if there's something going on behind the scenes and they don't have the staffing for it, but I'm sure there's an intern, and I'm not mocking interns.
No.
But I'm sure there's like an intern out there that'll cut some promos for you.
Yeah.
And that to get the experience of the editing. I mean, seriously.
Exactly, and you got fans sharing those videos online to promote them like we do, and I just don't understand why you wouldn't put that even online if you're not going to play it on your TV network as a commercial during your breaks or whatever to promote your upcoming shows. But I just find it really bizarre. I was wondering what was happening, why we weren't getting them, and then I saw, right, as you said, people complaining, and then there was articles saying that this is just what the CW does when it comes to shows that are ending.
Yeah, that's weird. I'd actually, normally they're like, we need an answer from the studio, and I'm like, guys, we really just got to leave these people alone. No, on this one, I want to know why. I want to know what their thinking is behind this.
So instead of showing you a promo for the upcoming episode Still I Rise, we have stills from the episode, and here are a couple. Obviously, there's some training going on between Alex and Kelly. There's Nixley sneaking around as she's wont to do, and then there's Nia obviously getting to just meet her mother during a dream sequence, and then I think in real life, and then there is Kara, and that is the brother from last week episode who had a pretty prominent role in regards to his powers and what was going on with him in the prison system. So there's some photos for the 10th episode of season 6 of Supergirl, titled Still I Rise.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And then we have a description and some photos for the next episode of Supergirl after that, the 11th, which is titled Mixie in the Middle. And we have some images here for you from that, which is described as Supergirl and team must stop Nixley from vanquishing a familiar face from Supergirl's past, Mr. Mixie's Pitalik. Mixie returns and explains Nixley's dark history to the super team in the best way he knows how, in song form. Meanwhile, Lena visits her mother's birthplace in Ireland, eager to dig into her past, but is shocked by the small town's icy reception towards her. So there's a couple of photos and a bit of product there in Mixie's hair I imagine, to get that look.
Yeah, that's quite the look, and the fact that he's going to be singing is great. I'm really looking forward to that now.
That is funny, and I imagine you'll probably make some of the other cast members sing, and we know that they can.
Absolutely.
So that's the 11th episode, and then we have a description for the 12th episode of season 6 of Supergirl. It is titled Blind Spots, and the description reads, I'll just turn that one off there for a second. It reads, Kelly is horrified when the Ormfell building implodes, injuring many in the community, including Joey. However, her horror quickly turns to frustration when she realizes that the hospital is overwhelmed, people are getting sicker, and no one is coming to help, including Supergirl, who is busy fighting Nixley. Knowing that she can make a difference, Kelly embraces her power and fully steps into her role as Guardian. Joined by Supergirl, Diggle, and team, Guardian leads the way to restoring justice to the fallen community. So a very episode heavy on the Guardian and Kelly's role. And she, Adhi Tesfaye, who plays Kelly, co-wrote this episode, which will be directed by David Ramsey, who plays Diggle.
Yeah, man, he got around. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's got a bit of work. And so that's the 12th episode of season 6 after the next couple of weeks. And the graphic that I just quickly showed you was a announcement from the CW that the finale of Supergirl will be a 2-hour event. Now, the finale will air on Tuesday, November 9th. So it sounds like we might get a bit of a break there, because I don't think we have enough episodes to go from now until November 9th. But it's not a movie-length episode. It's the final 2 episodes together as a movie-length finale.
I'm glad they're doing that. I prefer when they do like big finales like that and make it longer, just because I think it's a better way to send off the show.
Yeah, so playing the last 2 episodes back to back or together as a finale is a cool idea. We're not getting an extra hour of television. We're just getting the same amount of episodes. They're going to make it a movie-length finale with 2 episodes back to back or conjoined. So we look forward to that. All right, so that's all the Supergirl stuff. Let's jump into our fan favorite segment of our show. All right, Michael, what was our fan favorite question from last week?
What is your favorite comic book cover featuring Lex Luthor?
Yeah, we had a number of responses. Who did we have up first?
We've got Christopher Butson, who wrote, my favorite comic book cover featuring Lex Luthor has to be Action Comics number 466. It perfectly exemplifies just how evil the man is. Thanks to you guys for all that you do.
There you have it. Classic cover right there. So thank you to Christopher for that one. We also had this from Jack Rocha, who wrote in saying, for my favourite Lex Luthor cover, I'm going with the Lex Luthor issue of the Byrne. I think I had the wrong way around there. I think...
Yeah.
That must have been... That's Jack's. Sorry. This one was Christopher's. Christopher wrote this one. This was Action Comics 466, so I apologise for that. That was the one for Christopher. And this is the one for Jack Rocha, who wrote, this is my favourite Lex Luthor cover, the Luthor issue of the Byrne Man of Steel mini-series, which was issue number 4.
Yep. David Rustage wrote, "This is my favorite comic book cover featuring Lex. I still remember buying and reading this 1961 61 comic one Saturday afternoon when I was 8 years young. Lex was an evil criminal genius back then before being reborn as a corporate mastermind. This was his ultimate victory, even if it is an imaginary story. But aren't they all?"
Very cool. So yes, I did it. At last I've killed Superman, says Lex on that cover. The death of Superman. There you go. Next up we have Alex Sequard, who said, Lex is one of my, if not the favourite comic book villain of all time. It's difficult to pick one cover as they never completely tell how poisonous, vicious, bad and great he is. One cover that always impressed me was the cover of his biography. Cheers from France. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, I love that special. I've always loved that special. I think it's one of the better stories featuring Lex from that time period. JJ, you can call him Jay, or you can call him Jay. Give me some purple and green Lex jumpsuit anytime. The ruthlessness of Lex on Superman number 363 and being the snot out of Baby Kal-El on Action Comics number 466 are comic book gold. And I was actually going to choose Superman 363 too, because Lex just throwing his head back and laughing at Superman on the cover is amazing.
Superman, that's the biggest joke I ever heard. He laughs. That is really cool. Yeah, cool. Thank you everyone for your responses to the fan favourite question. So Michael, you've just given your answer there. Mine would have been the autobiography or the biography cover as well. I just think that's an awesome Lex Luthor look. Yeah, thank you to everyone who responded to the fan favourite segment of our show.
If I'm correct, I think editor Brian Augustine was the physical model for it. Like, he wasn't bald or anything, but he's the guy that sat there for, like, the photograph so that they could paint it. And the typography of that was meant to look like Donald Trump's The Art of the Deal. So it's just like there was a lot going on that cover.
Bit of foresight there, too. All right, so that was the fan favourite segment of our show. What is our new question for this week, Michael?
This is going to be an exciting one. What is your favorite episode of the 1950s Adventures of Superman TV series? I know mine.
Okay, so the email address there is sliding onto your screen, info@supermanhomepage.com. Send us your answer to that question. What is your favorite episode of the 1950s Adventures of Superman TV series? Obviously starring George Reeves. Send in your responses to that email address, and we will read those out when we return to this segment at next week's episode. All right, let's move into This Week in History. Here is your intro.
Come with me now, my son, as we break through the bars of your earthly confinement, traveling through time and space.
Alrighty, starting back in 1961, because there wasn't anything for 1941 or 1951, we have World's Finest Comics number 121, which was covered by Jim Mooney with The Mirror Batman. That's a horror show, so we're going to move on, because that's kind of freaky. In 1971, we had Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen number 143, where he's continuing apparently to fight that vampire. There's also a Newsboy Legion backup in that, which I always thought was kind of cool. That same year, you had World's Finest, number 207, which had Batman and Superman teaming up for an adventure. Meanwhile, the Tarantula is being reprinted, I'm assuming, in that book, because I don't think they were doing new Tarantula stories when that came out. Sticking with 1971, we have Justice League of America number 94. This exclusive, the secret origin stories of Sandman and Starman. So we're doing a definite JLA JSA crossover if we're going to have those two or at least those two characters in it. So, and there was two backup stories, the Tarantula Strikes and the Amazing Starman. So just reprinting their origins. Skipping ahead to 1981, we have DC Comics Presents number 40, where Superman teams up with Metamorpho and is going after his manservant who has kidnapped the woman. And that's kind of frightening. But I love these covers. The cover was done by Ross Andrew with inks by Dick Giordano. Also that same year, Justice League of America number 197 came out. This is the final part of the Justice League Justice Society crossover, and man, I love that cover. Everyone just looks great, especially Superman right there front and center. So that's insanely impressive. From the sublime to the silly is but a step, because we have that same year Superman number 366, where apparently he's trading places with a lizard for some reason. And that was a Superman Revenge Squad story. So going on to 1991, we had Superman the Man of Steel number 5, which was the curse of the Atomic Skull. Yeah, this is interesting because there was a flashback sequence that detailed like a movie serial that was drawn by Kurt Swan, and the regular part of the story was drawn by John Bogdanove, so it made for an interesting mix of art styles there. Jumping to 2001, this one's kind of sad. This is Superman number 174. This was the whole epilogue to Our World's at War, where Jonathan's missing and they find him. And at the end, he adopts a black instead of yellow on his S-shield. That stuck around for about a year. But I remember really liking that issue a lot.
That's a great cover.
Because I think, it's a brilliant cover. Also that same year, we had Superman and Batman Generations 2, number 2. Again, if you want to read long-winded reviews of that written by me, search the Superman homepage database. I'm sure they're there somewhere. Steve doesn't tend to throw things out. You also had Young Justice number 37, where the Young Justice team finds themselves trapped on Apokolips, which was kind of fun. But the big one, folks, the one some of you are probably waiting for us to talk about, this week, tomorrow here in the States, it's there for you right now, is the 10-year anniversary of the new Action Comics number 1. And I will say this probably till the day I die. I loved that first story. I wish it could have stayed like that.
Yeah, it transitioned too quickly, didn't it?
Absolutely. And I understand they were impatient, but still, it's just kind of unfortunate because I think they left a lot on the table. So, going to the real world. The what, I'm sorry?
Written by Grant Morrison, correct?
Yep, written by Grant Morrison, with art by Rags Morales. This week in the real world, on September 6th, Superman the Animated Series makes its debut on the Kids WB. On September 8th, the Super Friends cartoon show made its debut on ABC TV in 1973. September 10th, Filmation's The New Adventures of Superman premieres on CBS in 1966. And no, that's for next week. So we're gonna skip that for right now. But yes, that is this week in history.
Very cool. Thank you so much. Yes, a big week. Obviously, this is the time when TV series would debut and premiere in the US. So yeah, you had Super Friends, The New Adventures of Superman, Superman the Animated Series. I think even Lois and Clark is next week's, maybe.
I saw that, and wow, that's also making me feel extremely old.
So yes, a few anniversaries this week and next week for TV shows. All right, so that was This Week in History. Thank you, Michael, for that. The other big announcement this week that came from DC Comics was the announcement about DC FanDome, the big online global event, streaming event that will take place across the world on Saturday, October 16th, depending on where you are. It might be Sunday morning, like it will be for me, at 3 a.m. Thank you very much. It is on Saturday, October 16th, 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time for the US. An all-new epic streaming event, free virtual event. Once again, welcome fans from around the world to immerse themselves in the DC multiverse at dcfandome.com. There will also be a kids DC Fandome at dckidsfandome.com, just for a kid-friendly experience. And it'll also be available on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, giving fans an insight into their favorite movies, TV shows, video games, comic books, and so much more. This was a real big success last year. I think they had a bit of a false start last week and then split it up into 2 weekends, but obviously with hindsight and with the experience of having done that, I imagine this one will be bigger and better once again.
Absolutely. I hope so.
And here is the promo that they released for DC Fandom, if you want to check it out.
The hell are you supposed to be?
I'm vengeance.
Things will never be the same.
DC Fandome. Join us live October 16th, 2021, streaming free on DCFandome.com. Register now on DCFandome.com and be the first to get news, merch, and more.
There you have it. That was the promo for DC Fandome. As I said, Saturday, October 16th, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, I will more than likely be working. I'm willing to bet.
So I think it will be available 24 hours so that you'll be able to, when you get home, check out anything you might have missed out on. But it's good to see that they're promoting Superman and Lois on there. Obviously, we'll get new content from DC League of Super Pets, the upcoming animated movie. There'll be a farewell tribute to Supergirl. There'll be the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League video game featured there. And obviously, Injustice, the animated movie, as we mentioned before, will also be highlighted on there. So looking forward to seeing what they come up with this year.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's DC Fandom, as I said, October 16th. And there is a thing that they'll be doing each Friday leading up to that date, DC Fandom Fridays. And here's a quick promo for that, so you can check out what they're doing for DC Fandom every Friday. Check this out, this video.
Hello DC Super Friends, I'm Jim Lee. Last year, fans all around the world joined us for the first of its kind virtual fan experience, DC Fandom. This experience was created for you, our incredible fans. Thank you so much for celebrating all things DC and sharing with us your best cosplay, portfolios, stories, and stunning artwork. And I have to say, I was completely blown away. And now, backed by popular demand, is DC Fandom 2021, streaming live on October 16th. It's free to attend anywhere you are in the world. I can promise you that we will be delivering so much great content, you won't want to miss it. And every Friday leading up to October 16th, we will be doing DC Fandom Fridays, where we will be dropping content, products, downloads, and much more for you to enjoy. This week, we'll be exploring the legacy that is DC by celebrating the past, the present, and the future of DC superheroes and supervillains. From their iconic comic book origins to their greatest adventures in movies, television, video games, animation, and more, DC Fandom Fridays has you covered. So how do you guys celebrate DC? Is it watching your favorite DC films with your family or friends? Or do you think you have the largest collection of Superman comic books? Maybe you have every single Batman film ever created in your library. Or maybe you love cosplay and have the ultimate Wonder Woman outfit. Click the Talent House link below to share with us how you celebrate DC and be entered for a chance to be featured on DCFandom.com and all of DC's socials. And of course, don't forget...
There's the video. You can watch the full thing up on our website for DC Fandom Fridays. I submitted a photo of my collection so they can have a look at it to be a part of that event, that feature.
Very good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, just something to do. You never know. It's good promotion. If they even mention Superman homepage, it'll be big for us. So there you have it. That's the DC Fandom event. Just wanted to quickly mention Batman Superman 2021 Annual #1 came out last week. There's a review up on our website, but that's the end of that title for the comic book fans. So make sure you check that out to see the finale, because it's no longer being published that title after that annual.
That's too bad, because I think they really tried to come back from the edge of cancellation, and it just didn't work out for them.
No, it didn't. So that is the cover that you're looking for, Batman Superman 2021 annual. But let's look at what's available this week in the world of Superman comic books. Why don't I have them there? They should be here. Let me quickly grab them. We have, they're going to probably be out of order as I quickly bring them in. So let's just bring them in quickly. And this is what we have for Superman fans to check out this week in the world of comic books. This is a trade paperback for DC Superhero Girls Ghosting trade paperback that is out this week. We also have, and they are all out of order, but I will get them to you. This is a variant cover of the second printing of Superman Son of Kal-El, which is out this week, and that is the standard cover right there. So that's out this week. We also have the Suicide Squad 2021 annual, which is available in this variant cover right there. Also out this week, we have Infinite Frontier number 6, which is available in a Dark Side variant cover, and another very cool Dark Side variant cover right there. Suicide Squad number 7 is out this week, and that is available in a variant cover as well. We also have Justice League, oh no, that's next week actually, it's been postponed. We have Justice League Infinity number 3 out this week as well. So if you're a fan of comic books, that is what is available to read for Superman fans this week. Make sure you check that out. And something you should also be checking out this week, and that is a short story, a 5-page short story about Superman, not published by DC Comics, it's not commissioned by them, it's a fan story, if you like, written by Scott Kurtz with art by Carl Kerschel, and it is just simply a 2013 story that he wrote, Scott Kurtz wrote, and Carl was illustrating it, finally got around to finishing it. It's only 5 pages, but it is an awesome short story. I don't know if you've checked this out, Michael.
Yeah, I really like that
image,
that artwork. I have not had a chance to read it. It popped over the weekend, and I knew I really wanted to get to it at some point. But I liked Carl Kerschel's run on Superman, so that's going to be really exciting to check out.
Yeah, only 5 pages, as I said, very simple story. It's kind of like a story in between stories, and it's really worth checking out. Really gets to the heart of who Superman is. But that's our show for tonight. Make sure you also check out the Super Trivia Quiz, which is available for the beginning of a new month at our website, supermanhomepage.com/trivia. But that is our show for tonight. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to Superman Homepage Live. I want to thank all those in the YouTube comments who participated, asking questions and commenting on the show as we went along. And thank you to you, my co-host, the Barry White of podcasts, as I called you, Mr. Michael Bailey.
Good night, Steve.
And thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. Thank you for your support. And remember, Michael and I will be back next week on Monday, September 13th, for another edition of Superman Homepage Live. We look forward to talking with you then. Until then, make sure you check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself and Michael Bailey. Thanks for watching Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com.